Over the summer, the much anticipated Mayweather-McGregor boxing match finally occurred. I'm sure that a lot of you were betting on who would win and wondering how hard are they actually punching each other. Well, if you bet on either of these dweebs, then you're a fool because the mantis shrimp may be smaller, but it packs a much deadlier punch. Compared to the mantis shrimp, Mayweather and McGregor might as well be throwing fluffy punches that your grandma could take. The mantis shrimp has hinged arms topped with boxing glove-shaped ends that unfurl and hit their prey with the force of a .22 caliber bullet. Their punches can reach up to 50 miles per hour in 3 milliseconds, literally crushing their prey. This speed is impossible to see with the human eye, so it's a good thing that the mantis shrimp have the most complex eyes in the animal kingdom. In fact, their eyes can see a total of 12 different color wavelengths, whereas human eyes can only detect 3 different wavelengths of color. However, does this mean a mantis shrimp can see more color than the human eye? Well, let's dive into this question a little more. In the human eye, light rays enter the cornea and refract or bend, and then these light rays pass through the pupil and eventually make it to the retina. In the retina, photoreceptor cells called rods and cones are utilized in order to process these light rays. The photoreceptor cells are specialized neurons that send a signal to the brain, allowing the brain to process the color images that we see. Mantis shrimp have compound eyes, meaning the corneal lens of their eyes are composed of thousands of cells that are able to see separately. Whereas light enters the cornea in humans, in the mantis eye, light waves enter the corneal lens and travel to the midband. The midband of the eye is where color-recreating cells are concentrated in rows. The rows of cells in the midband detect a certain frequency of light or polarization of a light. Polarized light waves are ones that are occurring in one plane, so being able to see frequencies and polarizations of light is a unique characteristic that the mantis shrimp have and humans don't. Mantis shrimp have 12 photoreceptors while humans only have 3. These 12 photoreceptors allow the mantis shrimp to see from wavelength ranges of 300 to 700 Newton meters, which corresponds to various hues of color that we can also see. However, the mantis shrimp can also see ultraviolet and intense red infrared light that humans will never be able to see without technology.
Although mantis shrimp have more photoreceptors than humans, this does not mean that they have better eyesight or color recognition. The question that experimenters had was, why do stomatopods use 12 different photoreceptors to encode color when 3 or 4 photoreceptors are sufficient? Thoen et al. Did research on the mantis shrimp to test their 2 hypotheses about the mechanisms for color information processing in these stomatopods. The first hypothesis was that the mantis shrimp used a multiple dichromatic color opponent system. Dichromatic is the state of having 2 types of functioning color receptors. The second hypothesis was that the mantis shrimp bins colors into 12 separate channels without any between-channel comparisons. To test these hypotheses, the researchers tested the ability of the mantis shrimp to distinguish between different hues, or shades. The researchers used a 2-way choice test in which the animal is trained to a specific wavelength by means of food rewards. The wavelength stimuli were presented to the animal with optical fibers, and a choice was recorded when the animal grabbed or tapped the end of a fiber. Test colors were shown with trained colors at varying wavelength intervals to determine when the animal could no longer discriminate between the 2 wavelengths. They found that the mantis shrimp sees differently than humans, since we can distinguish between 2 colors such as blue and red, whereas the mantis shrimp cannot. The researchers concluded that the mantis shrimp uses this method because although they cannot distinguish between close wavelengths, they can still make a quick and reliable determination of color without the processing delay required for color seen in humans.
So do the research suggest that mantis shrimp see more colors than humans? The answer is no. As Theon mentioned, there is evidence to support that the scanning eye movement allowed the mantis shrimp to decode fragments of color, but it doesn't support that this stromatopod actually see these true colors. This is partly due to the 12 photoreceptor cells that the mantis shrimp have. In this system, photoreceptors scan across the object and receive temporal pattern which the animal would recognize as color. The next big question these scientists hope to answer is if the information from the mantis shrimp vision can be used to initiate future biological decisions. Research on the mantis shrimp can lead to breakthroughs in optometry. Who knows? There might be new anatomical devices engineered to mimic the photoreceptor cells seen in the mantis shrimp's eye.